Who controls the police at the state levels?
Oh, it's the federal government. It's the IG.
So when you have Security Council meetings and you come up with resolutions to maybe confront some of the challenges that states are facing, say in Benue State, for instance, where does the order come from?
The Security Council can take a decision and the Commissioner of Police can disagree with you. And he says, let me clear from my IG. And if the IG doesn't give him clearance, he will not do it. It happened in River State.
But we had...
When Amechi versus, what was the other commissioner, the former Commissioner of Police in River State?
We just had a previous guest just before you, who was a former police commissioner of police, said that the IG doesn't, they take orders from the IG.
They take orders from the IG.
They don't take orders from the IG.
I was a governor for 8 years. Now, there might not be crisis in some states because of the personal relationship between the governor and the Commissioner of Police.
So it's an issue of management?
It's an issue of management. Now, when a Commissioner of Police reports to Delta, for instance, when I was governor, the first thing he does is to report to me that he has been posted to Delta. And you must strike a relationship with him on a one-to-one level. He respects you as a governor. But if it comes to a situation where he requires to take permission or something from the IG before acting, he will refer to his IG. He won't listen to me.
What would you have advised?
But let me just clear that I did have that challenge because as soon as they come, we strike some kind of relationship. He understands that I'm the governor, they are the Commissioner of Police. We have our different roles, and we must work together to ensure that we have a successful policing of the state. And that is the only way it happens. Ask any governor. It's a personal relationship.
So it's a management thing?
Yes.
So now, what would you have advised the Benue State Governor, Mr. Ochum, in the prevailing situation he had in his state where farmers were clashing with herdsmen, a lot of people died in the process. They had security meetings, and the police commissioner in the state at the time had the marching orders from the IG of police to intervene and try to bring the perpetrators of those crimes to book. What would you have advised the governor at that time?
You see, from what you said now, there were Security Council meetings, decision was taken at Security Council meeting, but the commissioner got an order from the IG, a marching order. So the order was not from the Security Council meeting.
So the Security Council has been jettisoned?
Yeah, that's the problem I'm saying. There was a Security Council meeting, decision was taken, but the commissioner still needed, the order from the IG to act. That is the problem we are talking about.
So it's a relationship, it's a management between the governor and the Commissioner of Police, and then the governor and the IG also.
Yes, but to some extent the IG. But you see, let me tell you what the commissioners do. When you finish your Security Council meeting and the decision is taken, immediately they consult the IG. And the IG says, okay, go ahead with what has happened. But when the IG does not agree with the governor, of course, he tell you, no, don't do that. Don't act.
And with that kind of situation, what do you happen if you have a challenge in the state?
That is what we're experiencing now. That is what we're experiencing. I don't know the details of what happened in Benue, so I cannot make too much comment. So, but my assumption is that a decision was taken at the Security Council meeting, and action did not come early enough
until the IG spoke. But let's look at this state police matter. Who will appoint the head of the police in the state?
Like I said, the details can be worked out. People have advocated.
But what would you suggest?
People have advocated a police service commission, that will look at various lists and see the most qualified one.
For the state?
Yes, for the state. Of course, the final approval will come from the House of Assembly that will make recommendation to the governor. And of course, the governor will not make appointment. Like most appointments, the governor cannot just sit in his office and appoint somebody.
What about this other suggestion about the police commissioner being elected? So the citizens elect the police commissioner as the head of the police in the state.
I don't see how that will work. I don't know how that works, but I don't agree with that.
Why? Because you can rig it.
Well, you can rig it. How many people actually know who is being elected?
Not necessarily the people, the police, because there'll be several divisions within the state. So if all the policemen come together across the state, policemen and women come together and say, okay, we elect a Dr. Uduaghan to be the head of this police force, wouldn't that be better?
You see, Neota, My own is, let us sit down, work out the details, and start this program first. These people that are going to do the election now, who appoints them? We need to work out who appoints them. Yeah, they have to be appointed first before they can do election. We need to work out who appoints them. There are still minor details that can be dealt with. But the principle is, how do we... Now, the other thing about state police, which I must emphasize, this one it's based on my father's experience. My father was a policeman when I was he used to tell us how they work. Two things about policing: intelligence gathering is very critical, of course, before the action of the police. Now, in intelligence gathering, there are two very important aspects also. Understanding of a local language, is very, very critical. Because my father used to tell us that, look, when he was appointed a policeman and he was in the Warri area, Warri Sapele area, where they spoke Urobo and Ishekiri, he understood the two languages, and he used to get information from playing draft. He plays draft in the evening. Where they are playing draft, they will be talking, and of course, from the talk, whether they are using local language or not, he gathers information. But a policeman that is brought from Borno, for instance, even if he goes to play the drafts and people are talking the local language, because he doesn't understand it, he will not get as much information as my father was getting. So that is why we said, look, when you talk about state police and they are appointed by the state, they are not transferred to places that they are not needed. Now, what happens is people lobby to go to certain states in Nigeria. Policemen lobby, even at recruit level, they lobby to come to places like Delta, to Rivers, because they just feel that is where they can get a lot more money than if they remain in their state. But then the second thing, about information gathering, is that women are a big source of intelligence gathering, and the local police, the police at the local level, know how to get this information more from women than a police that is coming from outside.
Now, the point you made about Police Service Commission, because there are those who think, well, if we don't have a functional police at a national level, how are we supposed to replicate those ideals with state police, all because of the tenets of a federating unit or a federal system? Because look, the PSC, which you talked about, they say, look, they've got challenges. So are you going to take it the way it is and bring it to the states and expect it to work?
The challenges of the Police Service Commission at the federal level, it's not because the structures are not there, or because mainly funding. The funding is not adequate. The funding of the police at the federal level is not adequate. Most governors spend money on police that the federal government should be spending ordinarily. So the funding at the federal level is a challenge. So it's not because of the way it is